Rangers in the World Series. I'm one of those annoying people who has decided to care about baseball for the first time in like 30 years because the Rangers are in the World Series. So, I'm early. I'm sorry, but I wanted to get this over with before the game gets really good. And it seems like it might get really good. So, sorry for being early. I'm early. Thank you for watching this if you're watching it later, because no one is watching right now. Oh, there's one person. Hello and welcome. Um, so this is a special episode because we're going to do something buck wild in November. First, oh, that person stopped watching and now I'm alone again. October has been interesting because 30 days of 72-hour fasts, 10 72-hour fasts back to back. And I am on fast number 9. And then after 10, we're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going for 20. And I am very excited about it. So October, we did, like I said, we're doing 10 back-to-back 72-hour fasts, which if you are new to this, means that we eat a meal. Hi, Laura. We eat a meal and then we fast for 72 hours, which is 3 days, and then we eat another meal and then we fast for 72 hours, which is 3 days, and we just keep doing that until we've reached the end of the month or lost all hope or both. And the reason that we do that is for a variety of reasons, but the main one being weight loss. This is recommended for people who have a lot of weight to lose or who would like, hi Victoria, or who would like to just lose weight really fast. I don't really recommend it if you don't have a lot of weight to lose or you're really experienced with fasting. So I don't have just like a ton of weight to lose, but I do want to lose weight fast and I'm very experienced with fasting. So I know I can do it. So I'm doing it. I lost a lot of weight in October. I think there's like 3 or 4 people left in the challenge who are still going. And I actually love that because usually there's 0 by this point, because this isn't for everyone because it's really hard. So if you've been doing this for this month with me, if you're doing the challenge and you're struggling, well, that's normal. You're supposed to struggle. It's the struggle that makes it happen. It's the struggle that gets you where you want to go. Now, I'm not saying that you should embrace like punishing yourself or hate yourself or self-loathing or anything like that, but the feeling of, oh, this is hard is like part of it. It's part of it. So I am, like I said, we are on our 9th fast in a row. I have not weighed myself, but I have lost about 1.5 sizes, and I'm guessing probably, if I had to guess, maybe 12 to 15 pounds. Um, I was a little inflamed when we started, so a lot of that came off. It really didn't come off quickly. It sort of came off, well, it did come off quickly, but not totally like the middle. It was just kind of like a bam effect. I had gained some weight because I stopped doing long fasts last year, and then I started focusing on gaining muscle, and then I had surgery. So I had gained some weight, and I was ready to like cut some of it off. And I think that by the end of this November challenge that we're about to do, I will be really happy with where I am and ready to bulk again and do some more lifting. And hopefully my body will be recovered enough from the surgery to do that. So let's talk about November. If you are watching this because you are interested in joining our November challenge, November, we're going to do something a little different, or I am. Now, this part of it is totally optional, this little extra bit, but I want to just like kick it up a notch and see what kind of health benefits I can get and benefits to my energy, my overall well-being, and and as well as weight loss if through the month of November, with the exception of Thanksgiving Day when I do intend to go wild, all our refeeds are going to be carnivore. We're going to do a carnivore refeed month of rolling 72s. Why? Well, probably the main reason that you're interested in is weight loss. But if you're also struggling with any gut issues, this is a really excellent elimination diet. It's pretty much the ultimate elimination diet. And so, for that reason, I would also recommend it. If you struggle with any other kind of inflammatory issues or health issues, autoimmune, etc., um, eating only meat is very, anti-inflammatory, and so is fasting. And so I just feel like it would be a really cool experience to go in and just do like a hardcore kind of cleansing anti-inflammatory month where we're just like, okay, not only am I going to fast, but when I eat, I'm only eating meat. Now, what are the rules? Well, I mean, there aren't any. Like, you can do this and just like, I think we had someone here last time who was like, but I'm a vegetarian. I'm like, well, then just do your thing, be a vegetarian, but we are going to do this other thing. So, the rules will be like if it comes from an animal, you can eat it. So you can have dairy, you can have um, eggs, you can have any kind of meat. I don't restrict any kind of like processed meats, like I'll eat sausage and stuff. Uh, if you have like trace or what I call garnish of vegetables, or even something like jalapeno, where you take the jalapeno popper, like so you take like a half a jalapeno poppers. I'm from Texas, so it's a food group here. So you take jalapenos and you cut them in half and you scoop out most of the seeds, but you leave a little bit in for like flavor. And then you put in like cream cheese and you wrap it in bacon. Some people add like sausage, shredded cheese, whatever. But then you wrap it in bacon and you like put it in the oven and you dip it in ranch. So something like ranch dressing or even like a little bit of jalapeno or some like onions or mushrooms on top of your steak. I feel like that doesn't really count. I mean, some people are like, no plant food shall pass my lips. Carnivore. I'm like, it barely registers. Now, if you want to be like zero, zero plants, I am not stopping you. What's up, girl? Uh, but I will probably have a little bit of plant food and not think about it. But I won't eat like a salad, although I do love salads and I will miss them. I'll have, I will eat a lot of steak. I will eat some jalapeno peppers. I will probably eat barbecue. I will have ribs. I'll have brisket. I'll have a lot of sausage because it's like easy to make and I'm super busy / lazy. I'll have chicken thighs. I'll make like probably shredded chicken breasts in the slow cooker with like spices and peppers, stuff like that. I will get bored as shit, but that's okay because peeps, you are only going to eat 10 times in the whole month. So, like, who even cares? You're not going to get bored. The secret Here's the secret that you need to know because you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to fast for 3 days and then I can only eat meat after I'm done fasting. I miss my drink. Hang on. That's good. That's tea, by the way, not sweet tea. So, yeah, here's the thing, you're going to be so happy to eat food that you're not going to be that sad that it's just meat. If you live alone, take everything out of the house that isn't meat. If you don't live alone, like me, it sucks, but we just have to deal with it. Okay, all the same tips apply that you used in October or for any other 72-hour rolling 72s challenge, but they just count like double extra. So if you weren't using these tips, you need to use them. So tip number 1, plan your meal in advance, write it down, and have a thing in your head where you're like, if it's not written down here, I can't eat it. Number 2, set a timer, give yourself 1 to 2 hours to eat. Number 3, plan a cheat meal for the month. Now, the obvious day, just like this month, the obvious day was Halloween. In November, the obvious day will be Thanksgiving. I forgot how to speak English for a second. Thanksgiving. So I haven't done the calendar yet. I'm going to sit down this weekend or Monday when I'm back at my big screen, and I will do the calendar. Now, you might be wondering, Kristen, if I don't do carnivore, can I still do the challenge? You can. Will I still lose weight? You will. I had eaten like a dipshit this month. Totally. I've still lost a lot of weight. The less weight you have to lose, the less forgiving you can be with your refeeds. But also, even if you don't have a lot of weight to lose, if you're just getting started losing weight and you're pretty inflamed, you can still be like pretty dirty with your refeeds. However, the whole point of November is to like see what happens when we take it to 11 and we do carnivore refeeds. Why? Why not? We're all going to die one day. Let's just try it. I've never done this. Have you done this? I haven't done this. This is crazy. I mean, not crazy bad, but crazy like good. Like this is crazy. Like let's try this. So, um, that's what we're going to do. If you have questions, please post them. If you would like to join the challenge, you can just like do it. Or if you want to have the calendar and be in our little club, then you can join my Patreon, which is in the description box below. It's patreon.com/foxforcefitness. And Laura, you can work out if you want. It's all you, girl. We are doing whatever we feel like doing. Will you lose more weight? Probably. Will your appetite increase? Probably. Will it be harder? I don't want to say definitely because there's really no such thing as definitely, but definitely, kind of definitely. Because by all means work out. I wouldn't recommend that you work out depending on the type of, no, pretty much any type of activity. Probably want to do days 1 and 2, eating in next day, but not the third. The third, you're going to struggle with, it's going to be difficult. If you have a whole bunch of weight to lose, then it may not be that bad. I was lifting in 2020 when I was doing the 2 months of rolling 72s. I was in an unair conditioned shed in a Texas summer doing deadlifts. But it's funny, I wasn't really following the program properly. And I look back at my lifting logs and my numbers were going down. Partially because I didn't have a coach. I didn't really know what I was doing. But also because I was getting weaker, right? So I was fasting so hard. So you can join Patreon. Okay, I want you to manage your expectations because sometimes people join Patreon or they hire me as a coach or they start watching my YouTube and they think this is a magical thing because they hear what I have to say. They see my before and after pictures. They get really stoked and they're like, oh my God. And you kind of get like savior syndrome. Let me just stop you right there. I am nobody's savior. I'm barely my own savior. I'm not going to fix you. I'm not going to save you. I'm not going to change your life. You are. Now, can I help you? Sure. Any level. Join any level for the challenge. I don't care. The only reason to really join the higher level is because you like me. I mean, I'm being honest. Not that you don't, you know what I mean. The reason to join the $25 level is you get merch 3 times a year, 4 times a year, 4 times a year. I'm actually about to redesign the merch. I've been working on it, so might be worth it right now. There's like a mug that says "Not eating today." It's pretty cool, and there's a T-shirt that says "Ask me about not eating." Anyway, so I'm not gonna save you. I wish I could. I'm so sorry. So sometimes I actually got a message recently from someone who's still in the group, by the way, and great person, and we're cool. But she was like, I'm just not getting out of this what I thought I was going to get. And so can you cancel my membership? And I was like, I mean, no, literally can't, but you can. However, I can't do anything for you. You know what I mean? Like, this is a tool. I provide like some useful tips and tricks and techniques, and you either follow them or you don't. But really, ultimately, and this is was super empowering for me. And this is something that I learned when I was going through binge eating disorder recovery, which is you can have whatever it is that makes you overeat. It could, maybe it's your hormones, or maybe it's childhood trauma, or maybe it's something's wrong with your amygdala, or maybe you were abused as a child, or maybe you um, just love Cheetos too much. Like, I don't know what it is. It could be anything. It doesn't matter. It actually doesn't matter, because this is empowering. I want you to think of this as empowering, because it is. Bottom line, you make a decision. I don't care how deep your compulsion is to eat. You ultimately make the decision to put the food in your mouth and chew it up and swallow it. Ultimately, you have agency. Ultimately, you decide whether or not to do that. And that is powerful, because you can say no. You can feel every compulsion, gut instinct just forcing you to open that pantry door and just eat an entire thingy of sour cream and onion Pringles. You can feel like you will die if you don't do that. I felt that. I felt that the other day. But you can also just not do it. You don't have to say yes. You don't. Now, hunger is a good thing. We have hunger so that we can survive. But for some of us, there's just something short-circuited, and we're hungry even when we're not hungry. And some of us start eating and can't stop. Uh, and I'm one of those people. But the secret I learned is that I can't stop. I can't. And once you realize that, now there's going to be times when you forget it and you backslide and you binge or whatever it is. But then guess what? You get to say no the next time. You get to be like, hey, Tuesday was bad. Friday will be better. And you get to make Friday better. It is completely up to you. Even if your hormones are completely effed. I mean, I had an appointment with a hormone doctor recently, and he was like, he was looking at my numbers and also listening to what I was telling him about my problems with progesterone estrogen balance and my anovulatory cycle, follicular arrest, never ovulated that I know of, all these different things, androgenic alopecia, all of this hormonal stuff. And he's like, I usually say to people, we're just optimizing. You're not sick, but for you, you might be. There might be something really malfunctioning with your hormones. And I think there probably is. And morbid, extreme obesity is one of the ways that manifested for me. There's others, lots of others, but obesity was a big one. And pun. And when I went to the doctor right before I started fasting in the beginning of 2020, I remember the chart that he showed me, and it went from underweight to severely obese, and the very last red box was my weight, like was almost literally off the chart. And it was 280 pounds. I'm 5'7". And that was just it. That was it. I was there at the doctor because I had gotten taken um, from a parking lot in an ambulance because I was driving my car with my daughter in the back seat, who was a year old, like 18 months or so at the time. And I was making a left-hand turn, and all of a sudden, I just kind of blacked out. And when my eyes opened and I was back to myself, I was parked, kind of catty-cornered in a parking space in the parking lot that I'd been turning into. And I just immediately called 911. And my blood pressure was so high that the paramedics wouldn't let me drive away. They took me to the hospital and strapped my daughter into the little baby seat in the ambulance, which I didn't know they had in there. And they ran a bunch of tests and they told me you're not having a stroke, but you really need to go to your doctor and get your blood pressure under control. And I picked a doctor at random pretty much because he took my insurance. And one of the first things he said to me after he asked me a whole bunch of questions was, well, look, um, we need to get your blood pressure under control. We need to get your depression under control. We're going to write prescriptions for that. But one of the reasons why your blood pressure is so high and you're depressed is because you're really overweight. And a doctor never said that to me. Now, doctors had tried to do things about my weight that weren't very helpful many times over the course of my life. Um, that's a whole other episode, and I think I've actually done one on that. But he said, I'm a weight loss guy. And he gave me a little booklet, and he told me that I was going to do keto. And I was like, I've done it. He's like, okay, well, let's try it again. And he also said that I was going to fast 1 day a week. And I was like, whoa, buddy. Because I told him, if I go a few hours without eating, I get sick. He's like, well, we're going to try it. And it was a friend at the time who told me, she was like, hey, I know that you really want to try this 24-hour fast and you're scared of it. You should watch this Cole Robinson guy on YouTube. The channel's called Snake Diet. I did one 24-hour fast after I was in ketosis. And then I was like, oh my God, I didn't die. And it wasn't even that hard. And of course, me being me, I was like, I'm doing 48. And I'll never forget finishing my first 48-hour fast and just feeling like, Spider-Man, what's his name? Peter Parker, when he gets bit by the spider and he's just like running around discovering powers. I felt like I just jumped over a building, like I just did that. I just went 48 hours without eating. Robin, I don't know. I mean, sure, because, protein leverage theory, we keep eating so that we get more protein. There's probably some truth to that. Protein is good. If you're trying to get into hard ketosis for some reason, then, protein, but prioritize fat. But here we get into ketosis fasting. So protein is good for you, especially if you're working out. So I don't see anything wrong with it. Unless for some medical reason you need to be in nutritional ketosis. So yeah, then I did a 72 and then I just kept doing them and the rest is history. I think I lost, gosh, I can't remember. I think it was 45 pounds, 60, maybe I think it was 60 pounds in 3 months, something like that. First doing 72s and then doing 72 96s. I have it all written down somewhere. But 72s have really been my bread and butter, pun not intended. And I just think it's the sweet spot. And again, I've talked in many videos about how you shouldn't over rely on fasting and how you should balance cutting with bulking and that we should all be gaining muscle and lifting when the time is right. But if your primary concern right now is to get massive amounts of weight off, then you've come to the right place. I know it can be done because I did it. If you look at my before and after picture, the before picture, I was 29. That was around the time my niece was born, so 2009. I was 29 or just turned 30. And the other picture on the thumbnail was taken today. So you can turn back the clock, you can get healthier. I, probably am still maybe peaking or peaked around 42. I plan to continue looking and feeling good for another 10 to 15 years. I'm hoping that my cognitive decline doesn't start for a while. Pretty forgetful, but also pretty stressed all the time. So anyway, if you want to join. I'm going to post a calendar in a few days. Any level, patreon.com/foxforcefitness. Look, I don't want you to join if you don't want to. I'm not trying to get people into my Patreon just to get them in there, because why? I try to post in there. I try for every day, but I typically will do every other day during challenges. Sometimes I'll post a couple of days in a row, but usually it's every other day during a challenge. And you'll be the first to know when I'm going to do a live stream, and you'll, get access to these 2-minute videos just about every other day. And of course, I answer comments and questions uh, in there. And I think the real value of it is probably just having the support, the community support group of people who are doing this with you. Honestly, I need it. Like, I like having my Patreon because I have somewhere to go and be like, you guys, to people who know what I'm talking about, because everyone else in my life is just like eating food every day like losers. And I need to talk to my homies who are also weirdos like me who only eat every third day. So if you are on the fence, we need it. If you are on the fence, this might help you decide. I probably won't do another 72 challenge until probably next spring, because I'm going to do a bulk probably in December, and then won't cut again until maybe March. So uh, now's your chance. If you have questions, please drop them below. If you have comments, please drop them below. If you have ideas for future videos, you know what to do. If you have ideas for future challenges, drop them below. And we might need to do a lifting challenge coming up. That sounds pretty good, because I have been out from under the barbell since my surgery. I am a little bit terrified to go back because of all the complications that I had after surgery. I'm also about to start roller skating again. So you want to see videos of me falling down? Join my Patreon. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you for being here with me on this Friday night when you could be doing other things, but instead you're talking about not eating with some lady. I'm going to go finish watching Game 1 of the World Series. Go Rangers. Again, thank you for being here. I would not be doing this without you, and I really rely on all my, yes, December lifting. Yeah, right? It sounds good, right? Switch it up. I rely on my homies. I need to come up with a name for all of you. To be on this, I'm going to use a pretentious word, journey. Thank you for coming on this journey. I do appreciate you. I would not be here if it weren't for you. And let's do this. Thank you, Victoria. Again, questions, comments, send them. I do read and answer a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I will see you guys later. Bye bye. How do I do this? I always forget how to end.